Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tips with Toni's Topic Tuesdays. I am excited for today's topic, and I'm going to just wait for some people to hop on. Send me a wave if you're here. I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm drinking golden milk. I'll tell you the recipe in a bit when I have some people popping on. All right, awesome. We got some people on. Let me know if you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or a heart. Type in yes if you can hear me. Just want to make sure. And as we get more people on and letting me know that they're here and that they can hear me, I'll just explain who I am and what I do each Tuesday. So my name is Toni Marinucci, and I'm a registered dietitian, and I'm the owner of Diet Tips with Toni Marinucci, MSRD LLC. I provide online nutrition counseling for those. Hi, Michelle. Hey, Melissa. Oh, I'm so happy you got to join. Hi, Carrie. Really great Instagram friends. I apologize as usual. I'm going to be looking at my Facebook screen. Sorry. Hello. Okay, great. We got some people in. I'm really excited about tonight's topic. Before we get into it, just a little bit about me. I'm a dietitian. I provide online nutrition counseling services for those with a busy schedule or, who don't want to have to make time to go into an office. It's really great. We can, have, hey, Joe, consultations over the phone or through video conferencing. And it's really great to have that option. Hi, everyone. I love this. I'm so excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. I come live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about various topics related to nutrition. And this week I am talking about the maintenance mode. What do you do once you get there? Because there's a fear in people that once they reach their goal, they then now have to sustain that goal, and it can become very challenging. So in a little bit, we're going to talk about how to get to maintenance mode and what to do when you get to maintenance mode. But before I do that, don't forget to subscribe to the Tips with Toni podcast and the Gym Wits podcast. Each week, there's different episodes related to fitness or nutrition. This week's episode on Tips with Toni is how to eat healthy on a budget. So if you feel that eating healthy is not sustainable because you think there's a price point to it, I help you figure out how to navigate your budget in a way to fit healthy foods in your meal plan. So it's definitely a podcast episode that you do not want to miss. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get started. And then at the end, I'm going to explain to you my recipe of my golden milk, which was really hot before, and now it's starting to calm down. So that's good, and I'll give you my recipe for that at the end. So if you stick around, you get a golden milk latte recipe. All right. All right, so maintenance mode. Here's the thing with maintenance mode. You have to think of put yourself in someone's shoes, or maybe I'm talking to you. Maybe you're someone who has been actively trying to eat healthier, be at a healthy weight for your height and age, and really trying to just encompass this healthy lifestyle. Each week I talk about how you really need to commit to a healthy lifestyle, and that any diet that you do temporarily will only bring temporary results. So if you have that mindset and you're ready to commit and you're ready to make these changes, and this is now the new you, that actually can put a lot of pressure and responsibility on yourself and make you wonder, do I have to eat this way the rest of my life? Do I have to exercise this much the rest of my life? Or however you got to your goal, that puts the pressure there to then continue that. And I'm going to be really honest with you guys. The way you got to your goal is the same way you're going to maintain your goal, kind of. So that's all I'm going to say. The way you got to your goal is relatively the same way you're going to have to work on maintaining your goal. Now, this is why as a dietitian, I don't believe in fad diets and crash diets and the crash course, no carbohydrates or no protein or no fat, because when you are too low in one food group, you overcompensate in another, and usually it's not sustainable, because whenever we are feeling like there's a restriction, we then end up overdoing it in some way, and it's usually not long term. So if you've lost all of your weight thus far, or if you've lost all your weight, let's focus more on the person their goal was to lose 50 pounds, they lost the 50 pounds, and now they're maintaining, and they're fearful of gaining it back. If they did that by not eating carbohydrates, by barely exercising, and just limiting, maybe skipping meals, that's not really a healthy, sustainable way. So I'm going to challenge that person to slowly start to practice healthier eating habits in order for them to get to maintain their weight in a healthier way. And that way they're developing these habits over time and then can sustain them. It's the same exact thing with, once you get your goal, even in a healthy way, you now have to think about, okay, how often am I exercising? How often am I skipping meals or skipping snacks? These are the things that we have to really look at. If it took you doing 2-a-days at the gym and putting your effort into exercising maybe you exercise 5 to 6 days a week for an hour or more, you have to ask yourself if you can sustain that. If you can sustain that exercise regimen, then your diet can remain as is. If you find that you're not going to be able to sustain that exercise regimen, then we need to modify the diet, and there needs to be a caloric deficit in the difference of how much you're exercising and how much you're taking in, but we need to do it in a healthy way. So once again, the way that you lost the weight is usually the way that you're going to maintain the weight, which is why I'm encouraging you to follow healthy eating habits today rather than waiting until there's a problem later. Okay? Now, your exercise routine is something that we need to look at. What could happen as you get in maintenance mode is you get comfortable with your exercise routine, and therefore pretty soon your metabolism catches up and is like, this really isn't working for me anymore, and slowly you start to kind of gain a little bit of weight, but nothing really changed. Your diet hasn't changed, your exercise regimen hasn't changed, yet you're gaining the weight back. So what's happening? Well, as we get older, our metabolism slows down. Our body has muscle memory, and it remembers the routine, and therefore if we're no longer pushing it to the next level a little bit, then it's going to kind of stay where it's at. So as you get older, if your metabolism slows down and you're not changing your exercise regimen and you're not changing your diet, pretty much everything that you were doing to get to this point is not going to be working anymore. Now, the good news is that you're at a weight where this is all about being in maintenance mode. You're at a weight that you're comfortable with, which means that the little bit of exercise, the intensity that you might need to pick it up, or frequency, or the little bit of cutbacks in your diet that you're going to have to make aren't going to be anything drastic, because you're just trying to keep yourself at bay. I would encourage you to use this time, if you've reached maintenance mode, to stop worrying about gaining the weight back, because whenever we have fear or worry, it just cultivates that energy, and that fear is just going to create more of that negative energy and fear. And eventually, if you keep saying, I'm afraid I'm going to gain the weight back, I'm afraid I'm going to gain the weight back, I'm afraid I'm going to gain the weight back, chances are you're going to gain the weight back. Instead of thinking, I'm really proud of myself and really happy with the changes that I've made in myself, my eating habits, the way that I look, the way that I feel. The reason why I'm going to continue to exercise this way and eat this way is because I deserve to continue to feel these benefits. And so when we change the mindset and we recognize that all of that effort that we've put forward can't just go away and get tossed out the window, we then recognize, okay, whatever I've been doing has been working, so let me continue to do this. And now what I want you to do is you have a wonderful opportunity to start to introduce things like healthy fats and other nutrient-dense items. Because you're at a maintenance mode, you don't have to worry so much about caloric intake and all of that. So really, I would encourage you to maybe add like flax seeds to your cereal, flax seeds to your oatmeal or your yogurt or in your smoothie. Really try to incorporate more of your omega-3s, so having fish 2 to 3 days a week. Putting like avocado on your toast in the morning, or maybe snacking and using that as a dip at your guacamole. These are all things like your nuts and seeds, like they're all healthy fats. But if you're on like a weight loss plan, you want to use those in sparing amounts. You don't want to ever overcompensate, because if you do, chances are the weight will come back up. But if you practice eating them in small amounts, but now that you're in maintenance mode, you can kind of like have a little bit more, because you don't have to worry about the fact that you're still trying to lose the weight. That's a great opportunity to get the benefits of those heart healthy fats in your diet. Okay? You're welcome, Martin. How are you? How's the baby? So many of my friends are having babies. So many. All the babies. So take advantage of your diet. Now, what I will say is, now that you've gotten to your goal, that does not mean you can go on an overeating frenzy and stop your exercise regimen completely, okay? We don't want to think that, okay, I'm at my goal, I can stop exercising and eating healthy, right? We need to remember that how we got there is how we need to continue. Good, I'm glad she's good, yay. All right, so now, what I was talking about earlier is, as you get older, your metabolism slows down. What you've been doing might not start to work. And hey, Libby! Hi, Christina! I just put my head up. My Instagram friends, I'm sorry, I looked down at my Facebook screen. I really need to get a thing. You know what I'm talking about. A thing for it to go to place. I don't know what that's called. Anyways. All right. So we were just talking about maintenance mode, and how when you get to a certain point in your weight loss journey and you're kind of not really doing anything different and you're just maintaining your weight, as you get older, your metabolism might start to slow down, or kind of your body's smart. Our bodies are meant for survival. So the metabolism just kind of is like, let's not work as efficient as I used to work, because I'm no longer in stress mode and I'm comfortable. So we like that you're comfortable, but now you're not doing anything, and yet the weight's coming back on. So why is this happening? Now we need to figure out smart ways to then increase our metabolism. So like I said, if you're not already doing the healthy ways to weight management, then we need to kind of take a look at that. And I would encourage you to continue to use food as fuel. So utilizing food as a way to keep your energy levels up, but also make the metabolism move. So an example of that might be start having breakfast within 2 hours. For it to be considered breakfast, it's within 2 hours of when you wake up. Then 2 to 3 hours later, having a snack. Then 2 to 3 hours later, having your lunch. 2 to 3 hours later, having a snack. 2 to 3 hours later, having your lunch. And this is, you're gonna have small, frequent meals, or a meal and then a snack, and then a meal and then a snack. But it's keeping the metabolism moving at a pace where you're not going to overeat or undereat. And that's going to be a nice, helpful way to get the metabolism to keep going. So if you weren't already doing that to help to get you to weight loss, that might be a strategy that you want to try. Another thing to help improve the metabolism is, more strength training exercises are definitely going to help with that. So if you lost the weight with mostly cardio, I'm going to encourage you to incorporate a little bit more strength training, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, and that'll help improve the metabolism. Also, vegetables, we know they're important, but having a more plant-based diet actually improves the microbiome, meaning your gut and your stomach, which can help improve your metabolism as well. So those are 3 different things you can do to improve the metabolism. Small, frequent meals. I didn't even talk about sleep. Sleeping is a great thing to do. Muscle-bearing exercises, so more strength training exercises. And Oh my God, I just said one more. What else? What did I say? I can't remember. Today was in one of those days where I haven't stopped talking and breathing. I think I've stopped breathing, but it's because I kept talking all day. So I apologize because this episode was not as prepared as my usual ones. But I hope that you're getting the gist of what you need to do to help maintain your weight or keep your weight at where it is. All right. Okay, so now, kind of went over it already, but how do you keep the weight off once you've lost it? So it's consistency. Consistency is key. So if you are not confident that you've lost the weight in a healthy way, because I've said this 1,000 times, we can lose weight in multiple different ways, but the question is it healthy for us and is it sustainable? So if you don't believe that you lost it in a healthy way, then it's not sustainable, because eventually that's where deficiencies become involved. That's when you might not be able to continue on with it. So I would just recommend seeking out a registered dietitian. You don't have to set up an appointment with me. You can send me an email, tipswithtoni@gmail.com. Ask me some questions that I can help you and guide you in the right direction. So, Martin, you said cardio and strength training. I was saying to incorporate strength training if you didn't already, if you had lost the weight initially with cardio and now you're no longer losing the weight, you're at maintenance mode and yet the weight is still creeping up, then you might want to, since you're already doing cardio, incorporate strength training to help improve your metabolism. Did that answer your question? Let me know. Joe, when you counsel, do you also focus on sleep, hydration, and stress as well as I do as needed? Yes, 150%. And that's a good point too. Stress management, hydration, and sleep. I've said it in my other videos before, and I know I always have new viewers, so thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. The way that you sleep, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night is just as important as eating your fruits and vegetables and exercising regularly and all the other important things about a healthy diet. Sleep is part of that. So if you're not getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, that could be the missing component of why maybe your diet and your exercise regimen has completely stayed the same and you're supposed to be in maintenance mode, yet the weight starts to creep back up again. It could be because you're not sleeping adequately. It could be because you're highly stressed out. So we want to make sure that you're managing your stress in healthy ways. Maybe go for a massage, do some meditation, do deep breathing exercises, and staying fully hydrated with water is a great way to also improve the metabolism. You'll read things like green tea and peppers and chilies and all that stuff, and yes, there's benefits to it, and there are small changes that it's going to improve your metabolism, but unless you're really doing all of these things at one time, it's not like you can do whatever you want with your diet and then drink green tea and expect, your weight to start to go back to where you want it to be. It doesn't really work like that. So that's my little problem. What's your problem, Marley? I don't know what I said. No, sleeping. Well, you have a newborn baby. So if you have a newborn baby, I'm sorry, but so someone just asked me what I think about intermittent fasting. This question I get asked 1,000 times, and you have to ask the question, is it sustainable? Okay? I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but with intermittent fasting, you can listen to, there's an episode on the Gymwits podcast, GYMWITS, and I'm on there regularly as their dietitian, and we go into full detail about intermittent fasting. Yeah, Marley, you're not sleeping when you have a newborn baby. It's not happening. Can you touch on apple cider vinegar and probiotics? Can you define intermittent fasting? Okay, so let's stick back to intermittent fasting, and then I'll get to apple cider vinegar and probiotics. You're welcome. So intermittent fasting is basically when someone chooses to not eat for a long duration of time, and it's very broad, and it can be, some people do a 10-hour fast all the way up to a 16-hour fast, and some people do it every single day, and some people do it 2 to 3 days a week. And it's literally just selecting a time in which you're not consuming meals. There are studies to show some benefits for males, not so much for women, still inconclusive. At the end of the day, the question is it sustainable? And having time periods of not eating can help possibly with digestion, but then the question is do you overcompensate, or are you still eating healthy options within the time allotted for you to eat? Now, in regards to metabolism, it depends when you're doing the fast. If you're doing the fast early in the morning and you're not eating till later in the day, your metabolism might be slow at a point when you decide to start eating, say like 2 o'clock. And we know that breakfast is a really important meal. You have missed opportunity for including core nutrients. And a lot of people I know come to me for counseling and they're not eating breakfast and they're technically doing intermittent fasting. They don't even recognize it. And we get them to start eating breakfast and all of a sudden the weight comes off. So that's something that we would want to kind of look at a little bit further. Okay, so you're doing 48 hours with every 3 weeks. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. A 48-hour fast? I mean, I would have to look into that a little bit more, but 48 hours, unless it's for religious reasons, and I would not recommend exercising on a 48-hour fast. That's 2 days without eating. That's no nutrients coming involved. And that's where the potential of, yeah, you'll lose the weight, but how do you sustain that now? Now you've put that pressure. Now you have to always do that to keep that weight off, and that wouldn't be something that I would recommend. But we can talk offline and go into that a little bit further because I want to just make sure we have clarification there, and I want to get through everything. So yeah, and like a lot of people will utilize intermittent fasting as an excuse to skip meals, but skipping meals we know doesn't always lead to weight loss. If anything, sometimes it leads to weight gain. Like I just gave that example with breakfast. But I want to go back to your question about, okay, so apple cider vinegar and probiotics. Apple cider vinegar contains probiotics, which is good for your gut. And it actually, good point, Derek, because probiotics is another way to improve that microbiome and improve the metabolism. So incorporating things, it could be, it doesn't have to be that you drink apple cider vinegar because you're going to rot your teeth. It's a hard acid. But you can use it as your salad dressing. You can put it in maybe like, I don't know, some people I know put it in their smoothies. I don't know how that would taste, but those are definitely things that you can do. You can have things like kombucha, which is a fermented tea. I would encourage you to listen to the Tips with Toni probiotic episode. It explains that in greater detail. And the Gymwits episode about how to improve the metabolism, I go into greater detail about probiotics in there as well. I'm just trying to keep this under, I try to do it till 8:30, so I'm sorry if I'm rushing through, but I could always address these topics and questions at another time. Because I did promise that I would tell people what was in my turmeric tea, my golden milk latte. Now the golden milk latte is something that I choose to drink for 2 reasons. Number one, the turmeric, the cinnamon, the ground ginger that's in it are helpful for anti-inflammatory. So especially it's been like kind of raining here in New York and it gets you feeling a little bit achy. I do high intensity training. And so helping with inflammation, relax that inflammation is always, a good idea. So I have in here, I use unsweetened almond milk. I just don't I don't tolerate dairy very well. So I do the unsweetened almond milk. However, in order for my body to absorb the turmeric and the benefits of it, there needs to be some fat in there. So another episode I'm going to be doing, hey Taylor, another episode I'm going to be doing another time is about coconut oil. So this is unrefined coconut oil. And no, I don't put coconut oil in everything because coconut oil is a saturated fat. So once again, I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but I do put a little bit for flavor, and the fat in my golden milk latte, because I'm not using whole milk, will help with the absorption of the turmeric, as well as the black pepper that I add to help with the absorption of the turmeric. So those are some fun facts. So if you want to make the golden milk latte, you can use any of your milk options. If you're going to do a low-fat, fat-free milk, like an unsweetened almond milk or a fat-free milk, then you might want to think about adding like a teaspoon of coconut oil or any oil really, but that might not taste as good. I use the coconut oil because it's more of a sweet taste, and I don't add sugar. So some people add sugar, I don't add sugar. I use ground cinnamon, ground ginger, black pepper, and that's it. And then I put it on the stove and I bring it to a boil and then I let it simmer and I let it go down, and now I have my warm golden milk latte. So I have it for 2 reasons. Like I said, 1, anti-inflammatory, and lots of antioxidants, but then 2, when I don't feel like it's late, it's about 8:30, right? I'm going to go to bed. I usually go to bed at like 9:30, 10, and I don't want to eat something too close to bedtime. So I drink this instead. I use just ground turmeric. Yeah, so I don't use the turmeric root, but you could use the turmeric root. And thanks for tuning in, Taylor. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the black pepper helps with the absorption, and then also having some sort of fat in there will help as well. So, can I drink this while breastfeeding? Good question, Marley. I'm going to say maybe not right now. I want to double check. Because with herbs and spices, especially in concentrated amounts, you do want to be careful. I don't think it would be harmful for your baby, but I always like to warrant with caution when it comes to when babies are involved in herbs and spices. So I will definitely get back to you. All right, so a couple things, because we're getting close to closing time. The Tips with Toni podcast, please subscribe. Now, if you have not yet taken the Are You a Healthy Eater quiz, it's a really cool quiz. It's really quick. Just go to tipswithtoni.com or go to on my Instagram in the bio. You can click that, take the Are You a Healthy Eater quiz, and just find out if there's areas where you can improve in your diet. If you feel like you're not sure, or you want to see how healthy you are, or maybe not so healthy, you want to see what you need to do to change it, I would encourage you to take that quiz. At the end of every video, I provide a discount code for just one initial consultation with me for free if you use the code. This week it's maintenance mode. So you're going to email me tipswithtoni@gmail.com. That's Toni with an I. You're going to write maintenance mode. I'm interested in counseling, a free counseling session with you. And you're going to send that over. It's only for the first person though. Unfortunately, I had an issue last week where I couldn't give out more than one of the free initial consults. However, you are still welcome to get into my schedule in other ways. So send it out. First person is send me an email, maintenance mode. I'll put you in my schedule and I'll give you a free initial consultation that's online or through the phone, video conferencing, or on the phone. All right, about the cumin seasoning from the store. I wouldn't use cumin for the golden milk. I feel like that's too savory. I mean, you could try it. But I feel like I don't feel like that would taste very good. Not cumin. Okay, turmeric. I'm like, I don't know if cumin would taste great in that. All right, so really cool update, actually. Next week, Tuesday, it's Tips with Toni, but I'm not giving out the tips next week. Next week, I'm going to be going live with Andy the RD. You can follow him on Instagram, Andy the RD, and he is going to address your questions about soy, because he just wrote an awesome article about soy, and I get questions about soy all the time. I get told people don't eat it, or they do eat it, why they eat it, why not, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to talk about it. And I was going to talk about soy myself, but he did all this research and he wrote this awesome article. So I was like, hey, why don't you just present on your research topic? So I'm really excited for you to tune in next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I do apologize, Facebook people. I don't know how to partner on Facebook and Instagram, so I'm not quite sure that it's actually going to be on Facebook. However, I'll probably save the video and then share it on Facebook. So my Instagram friends, join next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for All About Soy. And don't worry, guys, I'll share it with you. All right? Are there any questions? Let me know. Yes, it's going to be exactly. So Melissa on Instagram said, it's crazy how many times I get asked by my clients the same questions about man boobs or problems with women in regards to soy. These are all things we're going to address. Wow. I'm brave. Poor Taylor. All right. You're welcome, Derek. I please let me know if you have any other questions. I'm serious about that. Send me an email, tipswithtoni@gmail.com, and we'll go over what you're currently doing and figure out if there's other ways around it. I hope I answered all of your questions. If you do have any other further questions, I'll be happy to address them next week. Thank you so much, Michelle. It was so great meeting you this weekend. Guys, do yourself a favor and go out more and meet people in person. It's just such a better experience. I just met this girl, Michelle, over the weekend, and it's just been wonderful. We've been able to connect in so many different ways. And to be honest, like, you never know who you're going to have in common, what you're going to have in common with people. And as much as I love connecting with people over, you know, the internet and through my blog, which is like my favorite thing, sometimes you forget about like meeting someone in person for the first time and learning about them and sitting down with them. It's so different. So I'm just going to encourage you guys this week to, if you're not comfortable with it, get outside your comfort zone and go out with some new people this weekend and make some connections in person. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great night.